Hey, Hari, horrible. Today the topic is the dysfunctional ego, which is a symptom or effect of the pandemic. Well, to clarify, the topic is about me. The topic is being pregnant during the announcement of the virus and the announcement of the second wave of the virus. The dysfunctional ego is something that I've started to realize that I am dealing with during the pandemic and during my pregnancy, my first pregnancy actually. Before I get into exactly what the dysfunctional ego is, I have to give you guys some background on who I am. I am a student of the mystics. I've been studying the mystics since I was 18, so for about 10 years now. I have 4 years of a background in Bhakti Yoga, which is a Vaishnav Hindu sect of the study of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the funny thing is that although I identify as a mystic, as someone who can decipher spirit from matter in our day-to-day 3D life, it was just crazy how something like this pandemic and my pregnancy can shift my psyche. It had tremendous effects on my psyche, and although I consider myself such a grounded sun sign Taurus person, I found myself on my tippy toes from the beginning of the new moon in Taurus, and that was in April. Oh man, I just found myself in total confusion and distress. Honestly, I was just not where I wanted to be. The foundation of Bhakti Yoga is the understanding and the philosophy that we are jivas, we are spirit souls inhabiting a material manifested form. So this philosophy is supposed to keep you grounded no matter what is going on in your material existence. But I found myself still trying to realign my energy constantly, trying to remind myself of who I truly am. And because of my pregnancy, I just decided to take my energy back from the world, take it from the collective, from my friends, from my family, and put it within myself, being that I'm building a baby within my womb. I decided to nourish only myself, being that this jiva, this spirit soul, is within me now and growing within me. I thought that was the best thing to do. I believe this is where my journey started towards developing a dysfunctional ego trip, because my reality became shaped by only what I need. My instincts and survival approved this, and I thought that this was the best thing to do, because mentally the world began to scare me, and I found solace in my solitary association. I found that putting all my energy within myself helped ground me, well, helped me keep my toes on the ground. So of course, I kept up my spiritual practices, but in solitude. My privacy became pivotal for both my sanity and protecting my unborn child's health, and for my own peace, so that I can continue to serve my soul and my ancestors, so that I can continue to hear my ancestors and communicate with them in the astral planes. I felt like this was essential during the pandemic. Or should I say, I felt like this was essential to do during the height of the pandemic and also the beginning, the novelty of my pregnancy. I felt like this was the best thing that I could do for myself. I didn't realize that I was actually doing my jiva, my soul, my spirit soul, a disservice by dissociating energetically, karmically, from the collective, from the world. But maybe it was needed for that time. In the manifestation of the new moon in Taurus in April, until now, the full moon in Taurus at the end of October, I have realized a lot. Dissociation from the collective only built the dysfunctional ego more and more. I have now realized why my cat has annoyed me so much, because animals can't help but to live in that reality of a selfish world. The existence of their ego is what they depend on for survival. Humans who, jivas, must have a deeper sense of self and utilize it in our reality so that life becomes as rich as it's meant to be. That deeper sense of self comes from the understanding that I am a spirit soul and you have a spirit soul, and we are the collective. We are connected. We need each other in order to not only survive, but to thrive and to actually do what we were meant to do in this world, why we manifested on this 3D plane, on this earthly passionate planet in the first place. So to dissociate ourselves is to feed the ego in a selfish manner. When we look at hunter and gatherer tribes, we see that nuclear families collectively, people have stuck together. There is no I in their language. It is always we and a connection in pronouns. And so the ego can actually become highly detrimental for the progression of our spirit soul. So with this realization, now the question is, how do we cultivate a connection with the collective after realizing our ego has taken charge, has taken control of our mind? How do we realign ourselves with the collective? How do I realign myself with you guys? How do I develop a nourishing relationship?